Sunday afternoon, it's Yunel Escobar bobblehead. And Yunel's bobbleheads having a good time in the concourse as the band is entertaining the fans that have made their way to Rogers Center. Great crowd on hand yesterday afternoon, 43,390. Appears to be a similar crowd here this afternoon. Bobby Valentine's Red Sox have won the first two games. They've outscored the Blue Jays 14-6, and they have pounded out 23 hits. Daniel Nava has been a spark plug for this ball club since his recall early in May. This series, he's gone 5 for 8, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. He's done just about everything you could ask. He's taken over every day in left field, and he has really contributed to the offense. Gonzalez, Ortiz, Euclid, that's the middle of the order. Euclid is at third base. Sweeney, Aviles, Punto, and Kelly Shopik catching for the first time in this series, and they're set to take on Drew Hutchison.
And for the Blue Jays, it is Drew Hutchison, 21 years of age, out of Lakeland, Florida, drafted back in 2009, 15th rounder by the Blue Jays. An impressive 4-2 mark in his rookie season, winning 3 of his last 4 in the league, hitting .266 against him as he makes his debut against these Boston Red Sox.
Great start last time out. 7 innings, 3 hits. He had a career high 9 strikeouts. Scott Podsednik makes a pitch up and away. We are underway. Podsednik was the leadoff man in Friday night's game. He did not play in yesterday afternoon's game. Just his 9th game since joining the Red Sox. Bouncing ball. Escobar behind second. In time, 1 down.
And the scouting report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners on Drew Hutchison. That fastball, boy, has that become the big pitch for him now. After last game going 94-95, all the talk about driving with the legs. He'll throw a good little slider. The changeup is a small part of what he does, but that fastball, the key in the last start.
He used a 4-seam fastball and a 2-seam fastball very effectively against Baltimore. The aforementioned Daniel Nava got a 7-game hit streak. Just upstairs with that fastball. Nava has really stabilized the Red Sox, and since he has joined the team back on the 10th of May, the team has really taken off. He's played every game in left field. Pitch upstairs, that looked like it's strike.
Pretty good looking pitch.
It's 2-0.
That box becomes awfully small sometimes early in the contest.
You know, we often talk about hitters getting used to pitchers. Umpires have to get used to starters as well.
It's funny how they go out there so many times seemingly tightening up the box, and then it expands as the day goes on.
It's almost like it's a surveying contest early in the game.
They put that pitch right about the belt buckle or just below, and you're realizing that it's called high. It makes it feel like there's not much to throw to.
Another good pitch at the knees.
How about this Daniel Nava guy? And you were talking about him, guy that has never seemed to be able to stick, but after coming up for Bobby Valentine, performing so well, you think he becomes one of those guys that the manager kind of has as a favorite, a guy that stays around no matter what?
Yeah, he's pretty versatile, and the fact that he's a switch hitter really helps. He lays off that high pitch. It's one thing you've shown. We've seen him a couple of years ago. We saw him for a brief period of time, but he's got good plate discipline. And Bobby Valentine loves the fact that he's a switch hitter.
Of course, when Carl Crawford comes back, he'll be playing in left field, and it'll be a pick as you can for Daniel Nava.
And I can see him staying with the ball club.
Oh, yeah, I can too.
Full count. Popped up into left. Rajay Davis moves toward the line. 2 outs. Drew Hutchison has pitched very well here in this ballpark, and it's characterized as a hitter-friendly ballpark. The opponents have hit just .211. They've hit over .300 against him when he's away from Rogers Center, but he has handled this ballpark very well.
He's got an unusual slot, a little bit low from a normal pitcher's delivery slot. And a lot of times with guys like that, that fastball becomes a bit sneaky on hitters, and I think that's the case with Hutchison.
Adrian Gonzalez makes a strike.
Well, now we have the belt buckle.
It's moving.
Yeah.
Big numbers for Gonzalez again offensively. 4 homers, 29 RBIs, and he has a league tie 19 doubles. Boy, he can handle that pitch away, can he?
Just goes out and gets it and doesn't hit it softly.
You see the shift, and there are 3 defenders on the right side of second. Brett Laurie is behind second base. Usually you'll see him out and right, somewhere behind Kelly Johnson, but Gonzalez hits a lot of balls right back up the middle, and that's why they have Laurie in that position.
The other intriguing thing that you could see on that defensive alignment back from behind home plate is that center fielder Kobe Rasmus plays a bit toward left. One of those hitters that when he puts it in the air, he's inclined to use the whole ballpark, maybe even more so to the left side, but on the ground, back up the middle and to the right side.
1-2. Breaking ball hammered to right. That'll get by Bautista. He plays it off the wall. Gonzalez is going to second. Here's the throw. Not in time. Another terrific throw. Looked like Bautista had a little bit of problem handling the ball in right, but he made another strong throw, and Gonzalez now leads the American League by himself with his 20th double.
Yeah, this throw up just a hair, too. And this might have been one of those tough grabs of the baseball. Awfully close at second base. Looked like Jose Bautista had second thoughts about maybe the call on this one. And I was watching Gonzalez come around first base. He looked like I've felt many times where you know you've got to go for 2, and yet you don't want to do it against that right fielder.
You always can gamble when you have 2 outs. Get yourself into scoring position for David Ortiz.
Talking about that look for Gonzalez. Watch him as he comes toward first base. Oh dear, I'm going to have to kick it in right here. I know who that guy is.
Bang bang at second, but he just beat the tag. Bautista threw out Nick Punto on a similar play here on Friday night. Ball and a strike to the Red Sox DH. Ortiz is 6th in the American League with that batting average at .322. He is all over the leaderboard. He's 5th in RBIs. He's 6th, tied for 5th in runs scored. Pops this one up into shallow center field. Kobe Erasmus is there, makes the catch, and Hutchison strands a base runner. Scoreless, middle of the first. It's Yunel Escobar bobblehead, and they just have a chance to go over 100,000 in attendance for the 3-game series. And the Red Sox are always a popular draw. Now it's time to take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They are game over 500 in last place. David Cooper moves up to the 5th spot because he's had a good homestand. 7 for 19, pair of doubles, a home run, and he's driven in 2. Johnson, Escobar, Bautista, top third of the order. Middle of the order, Encarnacion, Cooper, and Laurie. And Kobe Erasmus, J.P. Arencibia, and Rajay Davis round out the lineup. They're set to take on Daniel Bard.
Daniel Bard, big right-hander, 26 years of age. Stands at 6'4", hails from Houston, Texas. Went to college in North Carolina. Drafted first-rounder back in 2006. 0-3 lifetime against the Toronto Blue Jays. A guy who doesn't get a whole lot of ground balls.
Bard made his first big league start against the Blue Jays back in April. And that snapped a stretch of 192 appearances out of the bullpen. Kelly Johnson. 1-1 count. Bard went 5 innings in his major league debut as a starter. Blue Jays got 8 hits, scored 5 earned runs, and Bard was saddled with the loss. Upstairs, boy, the league has just pounded Kelly Johnson with that high fastball on the inner half.
Such a big strikeout guy, and a lot of times, especially those left-hand hitters, you leave that fastball up, they just loop under it.
Another pitch upstairs.
You don't see those same velocity numbers now for Daniel Bard as a starting pitcher that we once saw coming out of the pen when he would go 97, 98, 99.
The cutter missed inside, and Kelly Johnson will start things off with a walk.
And that scouting report now on Daniel Bard. See the fastball, and that's probably a pitch that he could stand to throw more. Has a little slider. He also has a larger slider. A couple of versions of that pitch. The changeup can be effective, but he needs that fastball to be a quality pitcher.
So Yunel Escobar will stand in, and he's got a little support. Got a little pine tar underneath that bobblehead dog. Inside with a fastball. And Kelly Schopper is going to go out and have a chat with his big right-hander. Escobar hitting right at 250. And his 3rd home run of the season here in the 3rd inning on Friday night. It came against Clay Buchholz. Made it a 2-1 ball game at that point, but the Blue Jays could never get any closer. Another ball inside. You mentioned Bard, excuse me, Alan. You mentioned Bard as a reliever through 98, and it was 1 inning most of the time, so he knew he could air it out. But you're right, he's dropped down in velocity with the feeling that he's got to conserve some of that energy to get into the 6th and 7th innings.
A lot of people felt that Bard was the closer in waiting for the Boston Red Sox. Jonathan Papelbon also threw hard. Not quite the velocity numbers of Bard at that time.
Another pitch inside, and he's really having trouble finding the strike zone.
Get a nice pop and glove, and it all adds up to get out of the way.
Bard will throw a lot of fastballs. There goes Kelly Johnson on the 3-0 pitch, and he gets in there safely. Boy, the Blue Jays will do that. They'll run in a lot of situations where you don't expect it. 3-0 traditionally is a bad count to run on, but Kelly Johnson catches the Red Sox flat-footed.
Big high leg kick by Daniel Bard, and you figure that he's a guy that should be susceptible to the running game. Kelly Johnson picks that unusual count.
3-1, nobody out. Runner in scoring position for the Jays. Back-to-back walks to start the ball game for Bard. Jose Bautista was honored before the game for winning the Blue Jays Honda Player of the Month award. And the Jays Care Foundation will receive a donation in the name of Jose Bautista for $1,000. And Jose really bounced back. Good solid month of May. Edwin Encarnacion was the April winner for the Blue Jays. And this past month it was Jose Bautista. Bautista bats with 2 on and nobody out. Again, Bard pulls that fastball well out of the strike zone. What's your philosophy here as a hitter now? He's walked 2 guys to start the game. Do you make him throw a strike, or do you anticipate you're going to get something good to hit?
Here's my deal. I was never Jose Bautista. I probably would be inclined to take a strike. If you're Jose Bautista and I'm the skipper, I'm hoping he finds a centered up fastball and drives it.
Breaking ball. Shopik uses that breaking ball to get a strike.
That's nicely done. When you've got a pitcher struggling to throw a strike at all and the fastballs are well out of the zone, you go ahead and throw that slider. Wonder what Adrian Gonzalez could add right there.
I think he's probably reminding Bard that he's got to get to first base if anything is hit, because Gonzalez is so far away from the bag, and now he's going to sneak in behind Escobar. And he is going to play even deeper than where he is right now. Another breaking ball for a strike.
Yeah, I also wonder if he might have, on top of that, said, don't lose sight of the fact that you have a runner here at first base, even with that runner at second, and maybe we can sneak in behind him and pick him off.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bard now aware of Kelly Johnson. Johnson with that steal is perfect on the season. He's 6 for 6.
Bard has allowed 6 stolen bases, 9 tries against him.
Two and two.
Really should have factored in the stolen base by Kelly Johnson. 7 out of 10.
This is where the Blue Jays have really dropped off. They got off to a great start in April, batting .321 with runners in scoring position. But since the 1st of May, that's dropped to .246. Around the inside corner, it's a full count.
You can see Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, take a good long look at that one. We've seen a couple of kind of hanging breaking balls called strikes already for Jose.
Full count, nobody out. Daniel Bard in a jam early. Jose high and deep, but this is going to go foul down the left field line.
The thing about standing close on the plate, as Bautista does, and when you're very quick and strong, you tend to get that barrel out too quickly, especially on that pitch left on the inner third of the plate.
Interesting that it appears right now Bard has more confidence in his breaking ball. He can throw that for a strike than he does his fastball.
Hasn't commanded that heater at all.
Another full count pitch.
That's probably ball 4 on Jose, but it's also a Jose Bautista that's taken so many close pitches, and many have been rung up on the course of the year, and with 2 strikes, not a bad idea to kind of free it up.
Yeah, you want him swinging unless something is way out of the strike zone.
If this guy finds it, as he did the past couple of seasons, the Blue Jays benefit hugely.
It changes the whole offensive dynamic. He's got 13 home runs, 33 RBIs. Bard will do it again. High and deep, and you can forget about this one. 3-run home run for Jose Bautista.
Well, he got that 3-2 fastball right through the gut of the plate, left up around the belt, and he didn't miss any of this one. If you're one of those people who maybe doesn't think home runs matter all that much, consider 3 quick tallies on 1 swing.
Good sound and no doubt. 14 now for Bautista. That's the first home run the Blue Jays have hit with men on base. They had 8 straight homers that were all solo shots. And that really takes advantage of Bard's wildness.
Bautista didn't even bother looking at this one. He knows that field pretty well. The guy who's led the major leagues in home runs the past 2 seasons.
Well, one thing about that, ball players love to hear that sound. When you really square one up, boy, You know immediately the contact, the compression of the baseball, and the crack of the bat.
And what it's going to feel like when you get back in the dugout with your teammates. That brings the club alive. Just a bit outside.
That's 3 walks in the inning. Rough start for Daniel Bard, and he's going to get a visit from the pitching coach, Bob McClure. The Blue Jays haven't been able to take advantage of a starter's woes in the first inning, and they've had opportunities. Against Clay Buchholz on Friday night, they had first and second, nobody on. Buchholz struck out Bautista and then got an inning-ending double play. But first inning, they haven't been able to really cash in until Bautista connected with that 3-run shot. David Cooper will stand in. He moves into the 5th spot. He has 1 at bat against Daniel Bard. It came last May right here at Rogers Center, and he hit a line drive home run. And later on in that same game, Cooper would win it with a sacrifice fly in extra innings. Rough start for Daniel Bard. Not enough strikes. Bautista had an extended at bat and got a real good read on the velocity. Edwin Encarnacion. Another breaking ball for a strike. The tendency as a hitter would be to switch and look breaking ball now until you get 2 strikes.
Felix Dupont yesterday used the breaking ball on first pitches about as well as anybody we've watched this year. That's the changeup that we mentioned, not often thrown, but can be effective, and yet one that was right through a very good hitting zone.
Bard is ahead 0-2. Tap back to the mound. Bard makes a good throw to second, back to first for the double play. Bard's a good fielder. That's the 3rd double play he has started this season.
I'm guessing David Cooper would love to have that at bat back. He got a couple of just hangers, soft stuff right through the heart of the plate, and then was forced with 2 strikes to go after a pitch likely out of the strike zone as he grounds into that double play.
Brett Lawrie. Lawrie hitting 6th this afternoon. Goes after that breaking ball. Breaking ball changeup. That was the pattern to Cooper, the last batter.
Changeup tends by right-hand pitchers to be thrown more to left-hand hitters.
Do you like that? Not throwing it to righties?
No, I don't. I used to always try to encourage pitchers that I worked with to throw it to guys who hit from the same side that they threw from. But there's always been a lack of confidence from a lot of guys in that regard.
High and deep to center field. Scott Podsednik at the track will bring it in, and that's the end of the inning. But the Blue Jays jump on Daniel Bard in the 1st. A couple of walks, and Jose Bautista squares it with fastball. Number 14, 3-0 Blue Jays. Rafael Escobar's bobblehead is all over the concourse here at Rogers Center. That's the second of 3 collectible bobblehead dolls that will be given away this season. Brandon Morrow was given away, then Escobar and Ricky Romero later on this season. Nice collectible set of bobblehead dolls. Kevin Youkilis starting at third base here this afternoon. He was at first at the start of yesterday's game. Drew Hutchison throws the first pitch strike after being staked to a 3-0 lead. Well, this is one thing we have seen from Hutchison, his ability to carve up both sides of the plate with that fastball.
No fear coming in. Pitching coaches love pitchers who work in hard. Hard to get strikes called on the inside edge compared to the outside corner, but if you keep pumping it there, you'll find it.
Why is it harder on the inside edge?
That's my opinion. With umpires through the years that I caught, and I don't know if your experience was the same, but I just felt that pitches could be right on the white of the plate and you couldn't get the call. Whereas on the outside, and of course, there was also a different day setting up where that outside corner became about anywhere from 4 to 12 inches in some cases off the corner would be strikes. And that's changed a good deal. But that inside corner was the tight one for me.
1-2. Youkilis strikes out. Good breaking ball from Hutchison.
Save during the Beauty Tone paint sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Roof is closed here again at Rogers Center as it's an overcast day. Brian Sweeney, the right fielder. Another strike from Hutchison.
What was your experience as a catcher? Did you find the inside edge as susceptible to the strike call as the outside?
It was always a battle because the umpires, as you mentioned later on, became over that inside shoulder with the inside chest protector. The American League went to that chest protector later than the National League. National League had an inside protector, and they would get in between the catcher and the batter looking at that inside corner.
You see right there as the catcher sets up away, umpires able to come in and find his nose closer to the center of the plate. Catcher sets up in, and that umpire will get pinned back in behind the hitter.
And he's got to look all the way across the catcher and over his shoulder to see that outside strike. Little looper into left. Rajay Davis will get there and make the pitch. 2 down. I always used to like to tap the umpire on the shin guard just to let him know I was coming inside. And I was a lot smaller than you, and I could get out of the way a little bit, but I always like to tap the shin guard of the umpire, let him know I'm coming inside.
Watch what happens. We've got an umpire over the top here. How often do we see that around the major leagues? That's the old American League style without that outside balloon, but I like that much better. It keeps the nose of the umpire into the strike zone.
And when you really think about it, it's a much safer position for the umpire than being exposed as you stand in that gap between the hitter and the catcher. Shortstop Mike Aviles.
You get to talking about tapping the umpire. A lot of times the umpires would grab hold on me.
No swing from Mark Wegner down at first. Yeah, I always hated that. Ted Hendry was the worst for me. He would always push me just a little bit off balance. Have his hand on my back just to gauge his depth.
As if they had the need more so than you to get to one side of the plate or the other.
Aviles rips a single into center field. Second hit for Boston.
Just one of those centered up pitches. Not belt high, but above the knees, and you'll see some base hits certainly on a pitch like that.
Now Nick Punto will bat with 2 outs. Punto had a big day yesterday. Hit his first home run of the season. Had 3 hits, single, double, and a home run. That's 19 games, and most of those at-bats have been sporadic up until the Pedroia injury. And Punto got some regular ABs, and that's when he started to swing the bat a little better. Ground ball to second. Kelly Johnson has it, and once again the Red Sox will leave a base runner. Membership includes a baseball hat, pennant, and an invitation to exclusive autograph sessions with the Blue Jays. Membership cost is only $19.95. Log on to BlueJays.com/kids or call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1750 to sign up to join the Junior Jays Club. Great opportunity for kids to come out to the ballpark on Junior Jays Saturday. Chance to run around the bases, and it's always a very popular day. And on Saturdays, after the game, kids go down on the field and run the bases. Colby Erasmus leads things off. Erasmus was in the 5th spot in the lineup last night. John Farrell's been pretty consistent. Once you get past the first 4, it's kind of been a mix and match. He looks at matchups and hitting sides. Johnson, Escobar, Bautista, and Encarnacion have been pretty consistent.
One of the things I know John wanted to do coming out of spring training was to juggle the left and right-handed bats as much as possible. Now that he was blessed with having more left-handed bats this year, but then there's the Adam Lind and Eric Thames situations.
Yeah, John Farrell has said time and time again, for balance, he would like to have another left-handed bat. Travis Snyder had 3 at-bats in extended spring training yesterday, recovering from a wrist injury. He served as the DH. Missed upstairs. Bard looks in as if to question the strike zone of Mike Winters. Leadoff man's on. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Derek Jeter, 38 years old, having a marvelous season. He hit the home run in Detroit. He leads the American League. He is on the cover of this week's Sportsnet magazine. He and Martin Brodeur of the Devils are featured in that issue. He just keeps going and going and going, doesn't he, Derek Jeter?
1 year ago, it looked like, at least in the opinion of a lot of people, that maybe Derek Jeter was heading toward the end of his career. That maybe he was making far too much money than his production would warrant, but boy, has he turned it around.
You know what? He's one of those guys that kind of responds to criticism.
Yeah. A lot of people respond, but not necessarily in the right direction.
He came into the play today with 73 hits. That's the most in the American League.
I was thinking about those lineups and the left-hand hitters and how you would ideally like to have this many lefties and this many righties and how you can juggle it, and it's all going to work beautifully. But then you get those left-handed hitters that don't handle left-hand pitching, and that's where it really fouls things up.
3-0 to Aaron Sevilla. There's a little cutter for a strike.
That's where I think the Red Sox, and talked about it a bit here in the series, they are so good with the two guys in particular. Adrian Gonzalez, left-hand hitter. David Ortiz, left-hand hitter. They don't care. Lefty, righty on the hill, doesn't matter.
They both have higher batting averages against lefty pitchers. Yep. Aaron Sevilla goes after that breaking ball.
Still hit for the power. So it doesn't change anything. It fouls things up for the pitcher on the other side. That's the ideal. You played with a guy, George Brett. I don't think George could have cared less if there was a righty or lefty on the hill.
Yeah, and that's why Gonzalez and Ortiz are such consistent run producers. Full count. Rasmus can run at first. He's 3 for 3 in steals this season. Let's see if John Farrell puts him in motion here. There he goes. Way outside. That ball goes all the way back to the screen. And bounced right back to Kelly Shopping.
Daniel Bard having a tough time becoming friends with the strike zone, and this just kind of in that ridiculous area as a major league pitcher where you can't even play catch with your catcher.
5 walks already issued by Bard.
Wonder how much the Red Sox are still mulling over the fact that Bard wants to be a starter. He's struggling a bit. He's 5-5, and that's kind of the bottom line, but he's not the dominant pitcher by any means that he was coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and you just have to weigh the impact he had as the bullpen pitcher. He was so good and so dominant. Number 9 hitter is Rajai Davis. Squares to Schobert, takes a strike on the breaking ball.
A lot of these breaking balls are even just hangers that he's finding the strike zone with.
Davis has had a good stretch over his last 15 games. He's in all 3 of his home runs during that time. Rasmus at second, Aaron Sevilla at first. Davis swinging away against another breaking ball. Just another reminder to the base runners, nobody out. If there is a fly ball deep to the outfield, we need a minimum of 90 feet. If you sense that there's going to be a routine out, especially Rasmus, he's got to get back to second and tag. On the breaking ball, and Davis strikes out. First strikeout of the afternoon for Daniel Bard.
I don't think you can be seeing the baseball well when you swing at a pitch like this. A pitch that ultimately is a foot plus outside.
Back to the top of the order. Kenny Johnson walked and scored in the first. Takes a strike.
There's that changeup, and like we saw earlier in the game, that changeup probably mid-thigh to the waist area, right through the heart of the plate, very hittable.
At the top of the strike zone, and you can see Johnson shaking his head. He said, I don't want to swing at that pitch. I feel like it's high, and they keep calling it on me.
That's something. That pitch has become such a ball in the minds of major league hitters through the last decades, and yet it's a pitch that is right in a zone where you should just be crushing it.
breaking ball.
I don't know. From over the top, Kelly Johnson probably is thinking, I didn't see a pitch other than that first one that found the plate, the last 2 strikes.
Yeah, he didn't like the fastball that was called on the inside part of the plate, and then this one looks like it might have been off the plate outside. There's a good look at it from above. Looks to be off the plate. Escobar now bats with 2 outs. And the breaking ball. When you see this many breaking balls and changeups as a hitter, you've got to switch gears until you get 2 strikes, don't you?
I think when you think Daniel Bard, you think fastball. But I imagine the Blue Jays hitters quickly had to regroup on that. He's not that big fastball guy right now, and he's struggled with command on that pitch so much that it's only the changeup and breaking ball that he seems to be looping through there. Yeah, the difficulty as a hitter, especially a right-hand hitter against a guy like this, is in looking at that breaking ball early. If that fastball gets away up and in, you're going to get drilled.
It's a price you pay if
it is.
Can hang in and hit a breaking ball hard. No balls and a strike. And that's what we were talking about.
Well, that is exactly what we just mentioned. And hope there's some good fortune here.
You hope that Escobar is okay. George Poulos out to attend to him, and that's exactly what happened. You start looking breaking ball, and then that one fastball gets away. And I don't think anybody can suspect that Bard threw that intentionally. No. He hasn't been able to find the strike zone at all.
He's all over the map. Yunel Escobar at the moment doesn't care whether it was intentional or not. But yeah, that's I used to talk to Tony La Russa while he was managing the Cardinals, and he felt about opposing pitchers, not so much about his own, but that if a guy was this wild, he shouldn't be pitching in the big leagues.
If I could caught him maybe on the top hand. Hard to tell which hand it hit him on, but right around that bat handle.
Well, if the Blue Jays come out of this with Yunel Escobar being okay, still healthy, no broken bones in there, they will have dodged 3 very ugly bullets here on this homestand.
Brandon Morrow got hit on the comebacker, and then Henderson Alvarez got hit almost in a identical fashion, and they both escaped without any problems. Looks like Escobar is okay and appears to be set to stay in the ball game.
Very concerning. This fastball just gets away, runs further up and in, and that's awfully close to finding the face area. And again, if you're looking breaking ball, see how Yunel has that front side open, the face is exposed. There's just so much that can go wrong with that one. And again, that's why I say, if you guess breaking ball on a right-hander like this that's just simply not commanding the fastball, you expose yourself as well.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened. Well, the bases are loaded. Jose Bautista already has a 3-run home run here this afternoon. He has 4 career grand slams. There's a breaking ball. I was such a bad hitter. If I had any inclination or inkling that somebody's going to throw me a breaking ball, I'd always look for it. The bases are loaded. Rasmus at third. Aaron Seavey at second. Escobar at first. Bard to Bautista. Ball on the strike.
Well, if Jose hoped to get a pitch in the second at bat to hit like he did on that first one, that was it. Jose Bautista, 14 dingers with that first inning bomb. He had 16 at this point in 2010, 20 last year.
Breaking ball bends around the inside part of the plate.
So he's not far off those numbers.
No, he's really not, and that's what's encouraging. You see his 4 grand slams, but just a 197 average with the bases loaded. Ball backed up off the plate.
That's really something when you can have 14 home runs at this stage of things while you have been in a huge scuffle at the start of the season.
This speaks to his power. He says he's battling for consistency. That's all he wants to do. 3-1 pitch. Breaking ball just on the outside corner.
Well, I was consistent, but I don't think Jose wants that kind of consistency.
It's a full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. Rasmus at third, Arancibia from second, and Escobar from first. There they go. Bases loaded, walk. Bautista picks up another RBI. 4-0 Blue Jays. And again, Bob McClure, the pitching coach, out for a second time this afternoon. It doesn't get any easier for Daniel Bard. Edwin Encarnacion over his last 10 games has hit .350. With 4 long balls, his OPS over 1 at 1.059. Blue Jays need to kick the door wide open right here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You have these games where early on, and a lot of people, I think a lot of times we think, well, in 8th or 9th inning, that's where the game's on the line. Right now is where you have the chance to blow it open and make it one of those laughers, and those are needed over the course of 162.
And the bullpen of late has given up runs late in the ball game, so the more you can get. Looks like Bob McClure and Mike Winters having a discussion about the strike zone. Bases loaded again. Bautista at first, Escobar at second, Arancibia at third. Bard has allowed just 1 hit. That was the 3-run home run by Bautista.
Yeah, if I heard a pitcher of mine make that comment at this stage of things, I'd say, you got to be kidding me, right?
Throwing a 1-hitter.
Yeah.
But he's walked 6 and hit a batter.
Yeah, it's very different when it's the reality coming from somebody else. But when that pitcher tries to make that kind of comment, you know his head's not in the right place.
Ball and a strike to Encarnacion. Boy, that got him flush.
Well, it's not intentional from Daniel Bard, but this has gone way beyond it, and I know Bobby Valentine knows that. It's not acceptable.
Now he's going to get the bullpen going, but you're right, to have 6 walks and 2 hit batters in the span of an inning and 2/3.
Well, especially when those hit batters are pitches that are up near the chin. Just fastballs with no clue. And here's the 4th bullet here on the homestand. Do the Blue Jays dodge?
George Poulos has had more than his share of injuries recently. And most of them have come out the best possible scenario.
That's a guy the Blue Jays need. He has been the dominant force offensively.
No question about it. He's been consistent all year long. Trying to get the feeling back in that hand and see if he has strength. Obviously, that's the concern.
And how much does a second one of these pitches now from Bard affect the Blue Jays and their aggressiveness at the plate?
Well, you can bet they're all going to be on skates, but Bobby Valentine has just come out of the Red Sox dugout, and he's made the call for the pitching change. Just wasn't Daniel Bard's day. Never could throw a strike, and it cost him. He will leave after an inning and 2/3. Pitching change here at Rogers Center. It's 5-0 Blue Jays. Just the bottom of the second. Thirds. He has been charged with 5 runs. The base runners on base are his responsibility, and he didn't have command of his fastball at all. He walked the first 2 batters of the ball game, and it was downhill after that. Franklin Morales, the left-hander, will come in. He makes his 21st appearance of the season. And the Red Sox are going to need some good bullpen work, and they are up to the task. They have really thrown the ball well. Mike Winters is waiting on Edwin Encarnacion. He comes out of the dugout now, and he'll take his base at first.
Well, if it turns out that Yunel and Edwin are both fine, and sometimes you find out, unfortunately, later that it's not the case, but what a homestand, and what a great act of dodging by the Blue Jays in terms of what could have been some very, very serious injuries.
So now the left-hander, Franklin Morales, will deal with the lefty hitting David Cooper.
It's dagger time right here.
Red Sox have 3 left-handers in their bullpen: Morales, Rich Hill, and Andrew Miller. Bases remain loaded. 2 runs in this inning. It's 5-0 Blue Jays. Breaking ball. It's 0-2. Another breaking ball popped up. Foul territory. Lucas over near the Blue Jays dugout makes the catch, and the Blue Jays will leave the bases loaded. Morales comes out of the bullpen and retires David Cooper. But 2 more runs. Daniel Bard had a forgettable start here this afternoon. Nationals right here at Rogers Center, June 11th, 12th, and 13th. And if the schedule holds up the way it is right now, Steven Strasburg should make that start on Wednesday afternoon, June 13th, right here at Rogers Center. Nationals have been one of the best stories in baseball this year, and Bryce Harper is right in the middle of it.
Strasburg and Harper, that's big baseball story time, and well, that's a great chance to come out and see some of the young stars of the game. How about Strasburg? Not only his pitching side, have you seen his offensive numbers? I believe he's like 5 for 8 with the bat, a couple of doubles and a home run mixed in.
Pretty remarkable athlete, and he has really had an impact on the fortunes of the Nationals. Daniel Bard with a tough start. He walked 6, hit 2 batters, gave up 5 runs on just 1 hit. That hit was Jose Bautista's 3-run home run in the first. Kelly Shopik, the catcher. Shopik making his 19th start behind the plate this season. First time he has been into a game this series. Drew Hutchison had to sit on the bench for 26 minutes during that bottom half of the second. A couple of players hit by pitches. More control issues for Daniel Bard.
I like the previous pitch to this last one from Hutchison. Right at the bottom of the knees, no strike called. Then he comes right back at the belt and gets the strike. But if you're talking about what pitchers are trying to do, down around the knees is where I'd love to see the umpires be able to stay with it.
As that pitch upstairs, reach back for a little extra.
Of course, that said, I'm not saying I don't want to see strikes called a bit above the belt, because I think they should be, but I'd love to see that pitch down at the bottom of the knees area become more of a routine strike.
Well, that's where pitching coaches preach their pitchers to work down in the zone, work downhill. Everything you hear is down. And you start getting that knee-high strike, that's when they're generally pretty good. Kelly Shopik sticks his elbow in front of that slider, and he'll take first base.
Boy, if ever there's the case of a guy, the definition, not trying to get out of the way, but turning right into it, that would be it.
Yeah, it looked like he recognized breaking ball. Watch how he stays in. He almost juts his elbow out there to take it on the.
You can even see Aaron Sebia. Watch him immediately turn toward the home plate umpire like, hey, wait a minute. That's not right.
Yeah. Asking Mike Winters, hey, he's got to try to get out of the way. So leadoff man is on here in the third. And Aaron Sebia may be aware that that long delay has created some issues with Hutchison now. Wants to get him back in the strike zone as quickly as possible. Scott Podsednik was acquired by the Red Sox after all of the outfield injuries they've had to deal with. He was in the Philadelphia Phillies minor league system playing at Lehigh Valley in the AAA. 2-0.
Yeah, you figure when Carl Crawford and all of a sudden his name eludes
Jacoby
Ellsbury, the center fielder, get back, there's going to be a couple of players fighting for a job here on this Red Sox roster.
Cody Ross as well. Ross did a great job in the outfield. Podsednik hits it hard to left, but Rajai Davis gets back quickly and makes the catch. Shopik returns to first. Yeah, you're right with the outfield situation. Darnell McDonald's another outfielder that's close to coming back. He's on a rehab assignment right now. He's missed 21 games. Ellsbury, he's not on the radar yet. He's missed 46 games. Cody Ross has got a broken foot. He's here with the ball club, and he talks about being able to run on Tuesday when they get back to Fenway Park. They have an off day tomorrow.
That's the same day that Dustin Pedroia is expected to be back in that Red Sox lineup. Daniel Nava
Right out to left his first time up. Nava's had a big series, 5 or 8 in the series. He scored 3 runs, driven in 3 runs, and hit a double. Dustin Pedroia took batting practice yesterday, first underneath in the batting cage, then on the field. Said he had about 25 swings. And a squibber right out in front of home. Aaron Sevia goes to second to get the lead run. Good job by JP.
Save during the Beauty Tone paint sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Big crowd here today, and look at that. You know, Escobar picked up a little memorabilia there, got his own jersey, just to make the day complete.
Going to have a tough time filling that one out.
Good crowd on hand, and the Blue Jays hope to get over to the 100,000 mark for the 3-game series. Adrian Gonzalez doubled with 2 outs in the first. That double was his 20th. That puts him in the lead in the American League in doubles. But it also is the 140th double the Red Sox have hit this season. That is the best in the majors.
Green Monster aids a little bit in that regard, no doubt.
Gonzalez is a guy that's tough to defend. You look at his praise chart, and he's not really one-sided at all. If anything, you could play him a little bit opposite. He doesn't pull as an awful lot of left-handers. He's certainly different than David Ortiz, the man on deck.
Gonzalez hits so many balls hard on a line in the air to the outfield, down the left field line, all over the ballpark. He'd be one guy that I wouldn't be surprised a team someday saying, okay, we're going to put the shift on, but it's not going to be what we normally see. It's going to be Brett Lawrie running to the outfield and becoming a 4th outfielder, much like a softball game.
I wouldn't put it past Brian Butterfield to make that suggestion. 1-2 to Gonzalez. Fouls off a good pitch. There's that knee-high strike you were looking for.
That's exactly where Hutch wants it.
Nothing Blue Jays. Top of the 3rd. Driven to left and deep, but foul. There's that good plate coverage you were talking about. It looked like a breaking ball. And Gonzalez just never really gets too concerned about pulling the ball. And that's why he's able to drive those pitches away so effectively to the opposite field.
Red Sox have had some good left-hand hitters that have utilized the Green Monster, the entire ballpark in Boston through the years. This guy sets up to be as good as any of them in my mind.
Wade Boggs, Mike Greenwell, a couple of former Red Sox that hit the ball so well to left field.
Fred Lynn, if you go back quite a ways.
Interesting note on Daniel Bard. He gave up 5 runs and allowed just 1 hit. He's the 48th pitcher in Major League history to give up 5 or more runs and allow just 1 hit. He just didn't have command of his fastball here this afternoon. Another 1-2 pitch to Adrian Gonzalez on the ground. Escobar takes his time on the money. Red Sox have stranded 3 base runners against Drew Hutchison. Jays up 5-0. Today's Sunday salute is to Petty Officer First Class Robert McClellan. The Sunday salute is something the Blue Jays have started as they honor members of Canadians Armed Forces. Congratulations to Petty Officer First Class Robert McClellan. Nice touch. Gets a little jersey with his name on the back. Brett Laurie drives it to left, but that'll hang up for Daniel Nava. And got it off the end of the bat a bit. Franklin Morales came in and retired the final batter of the second. Bases were loaded. He got David Cooper to pop out in foul ground. Morales has thrown a season-high 2 innings twice this year. Bouncing ball. Punto takes the big hop and throws wide at first. Rasmus takes off for second. Shopik dropped the ball. Kelly Shopik played it perfectly off the wall. And in his haste to make the throw to second, he bobbled it. He had a shot at Rasmus.
I thought Nick Punto might have tried to do a little too much right here. Not an easy play on that second hop coming off the turf, but then tried to get rid of the ball so quickly. Had a bit more time in my estimation to get Rasmus. Watch how quickly he tries to get rid of this baseball.
You see, Shopik played the carom perfectly, but bobbled the ball. And take a look at Gonzalez. He just doesn't have a chance to flag this one down. Aaron Sebia with Rasmus at second.
Major League Baseball, you're out there on an island defensively, and when you make those miscues, feels awful.
Punto's second error of the season. And there's no place to hide out there.
Look around the Red Sox infield, what they have generally had out there, and they have been unbelievable with lack of errors. Gonzalez at first, not an error on the season. Pedroia at second, just one. They've had 4 at shortstop from Aviles, and just on and on. They've been very good.
And recently it's been a mix and match situation. Gonzalez has gone to the outfield. Euclid will play at first base. Will Middlebrooks will play a lot at third. And Euclid has been out with a bad back. He's just off the disabled list. So Bobby Valentine has had to mix things up, and all the while the defense has been pretty good. Good curveball from Morales, and Aaron Sebia strikes out. That's the second out of the third inning. And if you're just joining us, Daniel Bard started this game for the Red Sox. He went an inning and 2/3, allowed just 1 hit, but that hit was a 3-run home run to Jose Bautista. Control problems. He gave up 5 earned runs because he walked 6. He also hit 2 batters. He struck out Rajai Davis and Kelly Johnson, the only 2 strikeouts he had. A very short start for Bobby Valentine.
Walked more than he struck out on the season. That's very surprising with his arm.
Red Sox have an off day just like the Blue Jays tomorrow before they begin a homestand. Baltimore for 3, and then interleague play starts on Friday. Washington Nationals will play the Red Sox over the weekend. Ball on the strike to Rajai Davis. Since the demotion of Eric Thames, Davis has gotten the duties every day in left field, and because of that, his timing is much better, getting the regular at bats.
What do you think about all the latest story about Anthony Gose playing left field at the minor league level?
Rajay Davis will talk about Anthony Gose after this half inning. Davis strikes out for a second time. 3 complete. Blue Jays have a 5-0. We're going to take a look at AAA Las Vegas, but this time we're going to look at Moises Sierra. Sierra is just 23 years old. He comes from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. In his last 7 games in AAA, he's gone 15 for 31. Over the course of 2 games, he's gone 7 for 9 with 4 home runs. He had a 3-homer game on Friday night when he was playing in center field. And as Alan mentioned, Anthony Gose played in left field on the Friday night. And I think the Blue Jays just want to give Gose a different look, and he is a center fielder and will eventually play center field in the big leagues. But oftentimes when a young player comes to the big leagues, he'll move into the corner positions first and then make his way into center. Not unlike what happened with Jacoby Ellsbury. When he first came up with the Red Sox, Coco Crisp was in center. Ellsbury played in left, and then they opened up center field for Ellsbury, and he became an all-star.
So you don't necessarily see a story there?
Oh, I think there's a story there. I think they're thinking about how they can get Anthony Gose up to the Blue Jays before the end of the season. And I don't think they would move Colby Rasmus out of center. He's a terrific center fielder and a regular center fielder. And left field has been in flux all year long. So I could see Gose coming up and getting some time in left field. I don't think that's going to happen for a while, but I think that's part of the move to get him a few looks in left. There's some interesting developments for John Farrell in the organization with the continued success of Travis d'Ormeau, Danny Echeverria, the shortstop, Anthony Gose, Yan Gomes. There's some interesting position player prospects in AAA.
You just named 4. Obviously, Travis Snyder is another name that people talk about a lot. Moises Sierra, you just mentioned. There's some very good position players that seem to be on the cusp.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are in pretty good shape with young talent. They got a young everyday catcher with power. They got a young hitting first baseman in Cooper.
Not to mention Michael McDade at the AA level.
Interesting thing about all those prospects, they're all older than Drew Hutchison.
Yeah, isn't that something? Yeah, this kid just takes to it. I mean, I haven't seen him look for a moment like he's scared about the situation, just going to take the challenge and run with it.
David Ortiz strikes out and hits Aaron Sevilla with the backswing. John Farrell was asked about the poise and maturity of Drew Hutchison and how that factored in when they called him up to make his first big league start.
It's one of the reasons why we felt he would be able to handle this environment with just minimal starts above A ball. He came into the start of this season, or when he got called up, with no more than 6 starts at the AA level. But because he is a composed individual, one that has a maturity beyond his years, and one that projects a mound presence of control and emotional control, we felt like he was ready to handle the environment here when the need called for an additional starter with us.
Interesting from the manager's perspective what the attributes of a pitcher are. And I thought it was interesting you used mound presence, Alan. And what's that in your terms?
I guess dealing with situations. You got men on base, a key moment in the ball game. How do you handle it? How do you work with your catcher? Are you a guy that wants to get his own pitches, or you work with everything the catcher puts down? I think actually I want to see a guy that works along with the catcher. They have nice conversations before ball games, and both know what the desire is. But you've got a pitcher, even at 21 years of age, who's not afraid to shake off a sign when he knows what he wants in a given situation. So I think it probably encompasses a whole lot.
And certainly we have seen that kind of poise and maturity from Drew Hutchison. And he throws the breaking ball down and strikes out Youkilis. That ends the... Oh, excuse me, that's the second out of the inning. Hutchison was walking off the mound, and I fell into that trap.
Don't get dragged in with the rookies, Buck.
Good slider. Youkilis strikes out for a second time, both times on the breaking ball.
Hutch is also using that get-me-over slider to start some hitters now. And, well, that can really help you when you're trying to set hitters up through the entire at-bat.
Well, it's a pitch that has gotten better and better. A little more depth to that breaking ball, and that was the one concern in spring training, that Hutchison needed to tighten up his breaking ball and create a little bit later break.
Now he's been up with the fastball as high as 94 this afternoon, but he's not as overpowering velocity wise as the most recent start, that one against the Orioles. That's close.
He threw several fastballs at 95, and we had not seen that kind of velocity from Hutchison in any earlier starts. And that came from a 4-inning start against the Rays in St. Petersburg.
So you put 2 in that very same spot and you're going to get 1.
And that's exactly what Ryan Sweeney was thinking.
Yeah, he might have turned and said, same pitch.
We mentioned Drew Hutchison made his Major League debut in Kansas City back in April. In his first 4 starts, he won his first game, his debut against the Royals, went 1-1, but the ERA was ugly at 6.65. And the last 4, Alan, has been a steady improvement.
Really, a couple of 5-run games in those first 4 skew the numbers a little bit. But yes, I think in particular because of that last start against the Orioles, and now what we're seeing against the Red Sox, he looks like he's taken huge steps.
Another good breaking ball, but Sweeney was able to lay off of it. 2 starts ago, we mentioned his start against the Rays. He went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits and 6 earned runs, including 2 home runs. And that was in front of about 250 family and friends. He grew up in Lakeland, about 50 miles northeast of St. Petersburg.
I think it's really something when you've got a 21-year-old and you're playing the Red Sox. You've lost the first 2, kind of gotten embarrassed a little bit in the first 2 ball games. And you're counting on this 21-year-old to pick up a win in this key series, and you feel like he can do it.
Yeah, he's the one that set the tone for the 3-game sweep over the Orioles. Yeah, that's a good pitch. Right in on the hands of Sweeney. All he can do is foul it off his foot.
A couple of 3-2 pitches, one at the knees outside edge, the next one inside edge. You just get tied up, but you know as a hitter you got to be able to try to deal with that.
Full count. 2 outs. Sweeney hits it to left. Rajay Davis on the warning track has plenty of room and makes the catch. So 1, 2, 3. Top of the fourth for Drew Hutchison. Top of the order will bat Kelly Johnson. Junel Escobar, Jose Bautista has driven in 4 already. Leagues, Washington's Nationals will come in June 11th, 12th, and 13th, the 3-game series. And then the Philadelphia Phillies, June 15th, 16th, and 17th. Interleague play right here at Rogers Center. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Kelly Johnson goes after that first pitch against Franklin Morales. Kelly Johnson got everything started for the Blue Jays. He walked and scored in the first. He and Junel Escobar had back-to-back walks against Daniel Bard. That set up Bautista's 3-run homer. Franklin Morales started his career with the Colorado Rockies, came to the Red Sox in 2011. Came for a player to be named later in cash. Right about the middle of May in 2011. He had been a starter early in his career. In fact, made 15 major league starts, all with the Rockies. Foul. Johnson waited back on that breaking ball. Morales started the 2008 season with Colorado in their starting rotation, and then he was sent back to the minor leagues at the end of April. Johnson goes after that high fastball and strikes out.
65 strikeouts on the season for Kelly. It's an awfully big number, but he does get on base because he draws walks.
Bottom of the fourth inning here at Rogers Center. Junel Escobar was hit by a pitch his last time up. It came in the second. Daniel Bard, really struggling with his control, hit 2 batters in the second inning.
Morales hasn't been afraid of the strike zone.
He's got a good arm, and certainly has that starter background that allows him to throw good breaking balls, a little slider and a changeup as well. He's ahead 0-2.
Of course, Yunel Escobar was drilled last time with Daniel Bard on the hill. Fastball just runs up and in on the hands. And one of those very scary moments. And you can see the head lash back at the last moment as this ball gets awfully close to that face. One of those very dangerous situations.
At that point, Bard was throwing breaking balls over, and looked like Escobar was looking for one. This is skied to right. And Sweeney makes the catch, 2 down.
Well, I look back at that Escobar at bat with the fastball from Bard running up and in, and Yunel had started to open things up, and the face was exposed. Seen it happen. A couple of teammates, Art Howe, Dickie Thon, and those are not good times.
Jose Bautista with a homer and a bases loaded walk. He has 4 RBIs here this afternoon. This last swing by Yunel Escobar, you can see he loses a grip on that bat. And looks at that hand, wondering if that hit by pitch may be a problem for Escobar.
Well, he's not acting like a guy who's being overly bothered by anything in the hand, and that's a great sign.
Ball on the strike to Bautista. Broken bat. Nick Punto right there behind second base, and Morales has a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. We've played 4 complete here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a comfortable 5-0 lead. Baseball Canada and Little League Canada. Kelowna, BC will be the site July 9th, 10th, and 11th at Elks Stadium. The instructors include Roberto Alomar, Lloyd Mosby, Homer Bush, Rance Mullenix, and Dwayne Ward. Visit BlueJays.com/Baseball Academy for more information. Those Honda Super Camps have been a huge success across Canada. Dwayne Ward has been the driving force to put them together and reunite with some of his former Blue Jay alumni. 7-8-9 for the Red Sox here. Top of the 5th. Drew Hutchison missed with that fastball. Thought he had a strike bottom of the zone. It's 2-0. Aviles, a little line drive to left field. Rajay Davis gets there, makes an easy play of it. That's 5 straight retired by Drew Hutchison. Boy, he's getting better and better. And this has been a problem for Hutchison. Second time through the order, third time through the order. but that's not been the case in his last 2 starts.
I don't think it's easy for any pitcher when you're going out, especially against a lineup like the Red Sox can throw at you. You just have to keep going batter by batter, pitch by pitch. And Hutchison's stuff is awfully good. Again, a little bit of a unique arm slot as he delivers, and I think it creates that sneaky feeling for the hitters.
Albert Pujols talked about that when Hutchison pitched against the Angels. After the game, he was asked about Hutchison's stuff, and these are the numbers we had talked about. No problem the first time through the order. Hitters catch up second and third time. Changeup pulled on the ground. Cooper will go to the bag. Punto's retired. But Pujols' comments after the start Hutchison made against the Angels were that he couldn't pick up the ball.
Yeah. And I think it is that slot. It's not like it's all that different. It doesn't, I don't think, jump out at people. But down on the field, Bruce Walton, the pitching coach, and John Farrell will talk about that slot being just a little bit short. It's not a full-arm slot. And you can think of a lot of pitchers through the years. Dennis Eckersley was certainly one. Billy Wagner, guys who had great fastballs that would get on hitters. And that unusual slot can set it up.
Kelly Shapik was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning.
Buck, I remember Tom Seaver, and I didn't play against him much. You may have more than I did. But he had a great arm stroke. It was very classic, but he drove on the back leg, and it lowered everything. And for me, he was a guy that I just almost couldn't pick up where the ball was coming from.
Yeah, he was a true drop and drive pitcher. This is hit into center. Long run for Rasmus on the warning track. It is gone. Kelly Shapik drives it to the opposite field out of the ballpark. That's the first home run Drew Hutchison has given up here at Rogers Center. And the Red Sox are on the board. Well, that ball carried a long way to the opposite field. 3rd home run of the season for Shapik.
Burly catcher, and hitting like the burly guy that he is, that's really driving it. How many guys getting the barrel to it quite like this on Hutchison?
Sneaks it over the wall in deep right center. Top of the order, Scott Podsednik has gone 0 for 2. Little looper into center field. Escobar out. That's going to drop for a base hit. Podsednik may have hit it off the end of the bat. Little Texas League base hit. That's the 4th Red Sox hit of the afternoon.
Out over the plate, right off the end of the bat. And now Podsednik, I think in any scenario, a guy that you have to be aware of on the bases. Escobar is about as good as they come on this looping pop-up or just the looper back of him. Of course, he's got a good guy to learn from with Omar Vizquel, probably as good as they've ever been.
Podsednik with a foot on the artificial surface at first base. He's got a couple of steals already. Nava fouls it up. I say already because Podsednik playing just in his 9th game for the Red Sox. He's 2 for 2 in steals.
I like what Hutchison does. You can see it's not your classic slide step, but it's that quick step toward the plate, and makes it tough for a base stealer to try to even think about, yeah, I'm gonna pick out a pitch here and go. See if he goes with that same delivery to the plate. A little higher kick.
Ball on the strike.
Higher kick, but still somewhat quick to the plate.
Hutchison's only had 4 steal attempts against him because of his ability to unload quickly. Now fouls it off his foot. He's having a tough time. That ball down in the zone.
And that changeup is becoming a pretty good weapon here this afternoon for Hutchison. He's gotten a couple of ground balls and getting ahead on some guys with it.
Well, one thing about Boston is they're not going to go quietly. You see Podsednik with that exaggerated guard as he slides head first just to protect that thumb.
Use it to pull pizzas out of the oven back in the clubhouse and everything.
1-2, 2 outs. All of the Red Sox hits have come with 2 outs, and that's the type of team they are. They just keep grinding away. They have a lot of veterans in their lineup. And oftentimes younger pitchers struggle with closing out innings, get a couple of quick outs, and then think they're going to breeze, and Red Sox should come back and bite you.
There's that quick step and then the utilization of the changeup. And at times I think that can even be a benefit as you kind of jump toward the plate and then bring the changeup. All the more reason to get fooled as a hitter.
Yeah, generally when you use the slide step, it's because you're trying to diffuse the possibility of a stolen base, and with that you can throw a fastball. But that slide step changeup's a great pitch. Another 1-2 pitch to Daniel Nava. There goes Podsednik. Pitches inside. Throw is late. That's second. And Sebia bounced the throw well in front of second base, and Podsednik has his 3rd stolen base of the season.
Yeah, I don't know if Podsednik had the read to where he thought, okay, this is going to be the high leg kick. I see something different, but he got it nonetheless. That was the highest leg kick of the entire sequence. And Podsednik, who's been a great base stealer for a long, long time, able to read it right. Unel having a little fun there, picking the foot up off the bag.
You can see that hand pad as it just bounced over the base. He didn't have the ability with those fingers exposed to grab onto the bag, so he just skidded right over the top of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the wisdom there, but obviously the guy doesn't want to break his fingers going in.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Red Sox have scored here in the 5th, a 2-out home run by Kelly Shopping. Mentioned Hutchison's ability to shut down the running game. He was a shortstop in high school, pitched and played short, so he understands when guys might run. Oftentimes when you get a pitcher that's been a position player, you have a better feel for that.
And that running game can mean so much. In this situation, a base hit suddenly makes this ball game far less comfortable for the Blue Jays.
Full count. Rocked him with a changeup. Well, that's a tough pitch. You've got Gonzalez and Ortiz, the next scheduled 2 hitters, and you issue the 2-out walk, so it's 1st and 2nd 2 outs.
What it probably says to me is a lot of confidence in that changeup, and even with confidence, sometimes you miss.
So Gonzalez has already doubled here this afternoon, and David Ortiz is on deck. Ortiz has gone 0 for 2 against Hutchison. Big point of the ball game for Boston. Got a good fastball right in on his hands. Now this is the one thing about the Red Sox. There's so many places that they can really strike up and down in their batting order, and Gonzalez has been among the best with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Then add Pedroia and Ellsbury and Carl Crawford, and boy, it's an awfully tough lineup.
Good fastball. Hutchison right back ahead of Gonzalez, 0-2. Gets it up and pops it up. Kelly Johnson, the second baseman, makes the catch. The inning is over. Drew Hutchison pitches out of a 2-out situation, but gives up the first run to the Red Sox. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Jeff Mathis has come off the bench and grabbed a bat. He's going to pinch hit for Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin was hit by a pitch in the second, and he has been taken out of this ballgame.
Just like the Escobar hit by pitch. Fastball runs up and in from Bard, hits the right hand as it gets under that lead left arm. And Edwin showed that this was no joke right from the start. The Blue Jays had to feel awfully good that he continued on, but now you wonder.
As we have said over the course of this homestand, Blue Jays have x-ray equipment inside their clubhouse so they can go in and get a quick x-ray and make sure that everything is okay. And hopefully we'll get some news about Encarnacion and his injury. Slow breaking ball. Mathis is in a hole 1-2. Last 11 games, he's 4 for 24. And his playing time is sporadic, obviously, with J.P. and CB doing the heavy lifting behind the plate. And there's another breaking ball, and Mathis strikes out. Morales with his 4th strikeout since coming into the game back in the second.
When Morales came on in that second inning to face David Cooper, bases were loaded at the time. The Blue Jays, I call it the dagger moment. If you come up with that base hit and turn it to at least a 7-0 game, that's when you really have dropped it on the opposition. But instead, Morales got the big pop out from Cooper.
Certainly kept the Red Sox within striking distance. They now trail by 4. Cooper drives it to left. Nava back at the wall and misses the ball. They got a bad read on it. Cooper is going to head for third. Here's the throw from Nava. It is in time. David Cooper saw that ball bounce away from the left fielder, and at second base decided to try to stretch it to 3.
Daniel Nava's done some really nice things offensively. You get the sense that the defensive side isn't his strength. And when you talk about lack of strengths for David Cooper, it would be the running side of the game. What an effort that is by Nava to eventually get the out. And Cooper giving everything he's got, but he doesn't run well. He is coming up with a lot of power to left field.
Now throws it on the run, and they tag out Cooper trying to slide into third. Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, rotated down to third base to make the call, and there's the quick throw to third. Youkilis comes off the bag to take it, and I don't know if he ever touched him.
Yeah, I think you have a good point right there. David Cooper made a very good effort with that slide on the outfield side.
Brett Lawrie has flied out twice. Take another look at it as Cooper slides to the outside and Youkilis swipes at him. And then the way that Youkilis reached for him again suggests that he didn't think he touched him either.
And at the same time, not a bad thing to do. Keep that glove involved in the play. And looked like Cooper may have already been on the bag, but he might have also tapped the glove with his hand inadvertently.
Goes down as a 7-5 put out. Cooper is credited with a double. 1-2 to Lawrie. One more look at the tag. Youkilis swipes at him, and that right hand came around. Mike Winters is in a good spot to make the call.
Yeah, that hand did not hit the glove, and yeah, that's a borderline call. One that you really would be hard pressed to make a definitive call on.
Full count. Mentioned that Morales had gone 2 innings twice this season. He's now gone 3 complete innings. He got a third of an inning in the second when he came in. Lawrie drives it down the right side, but it's slicing into the seats. It's the longest relief outing of Morales' career. And that's what you need when your starter goes an inning and 2/3. Breaking ball, line toward right, and that'll get down in front of Sweeney. Lawrie stayed with it and stroked it into right.
Save during the Beauty Tone paint sale, only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners.
A crowd on hand here at Rogers Center. The final game of a 6-game homestand. Blue Jays are 3-2 on the homestand after sweeping the Orioles and losing the first 2 to the Red Sox. Colby Rasmus has been on base twice this afternoon. He walked and scored in the second and reached on an error in the third. Red Sox have out-hit the Blue Jays 4-3. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Well, that's a pretty good move right there. Morales hung up with that lead leg and had a quick, accurate throw to first.
Give that left-hander. You are not allowed to cross the rubber with that leg and then throw to first base. That was pretty close. It's the foot that can't go past that imaginary line coming off the rubber. And I don't know on that first one if he got the foot past that line or not, but it's right on that borderline.
A lot of lefties like Morales will point that knee and keep the foot away from crossing that rubber. Jimmy Key did that very well.
Bob McClure, I think, was one of the guys that I thought was about as good as you can get in terms of that move. The right knee would come well back toward the second baseman, but the foot would hang back on the correct side of the rubber.
And that was so important for McClure, who was a reliever most of his career, and he'd come into games and sometimes he'd get out of an inning without throwing a pitch.
Drop down and sidearm you toward the bag.
2 balls and a strike. Up and in. Blue Jays have had more than their fair share of pitches inside, and most of them were because Daniel Bard fought his control all afternoon. Brett Lawrie has 7 steals this season. He was caught trying to steal third in an ill-advised attempt with 2 outs in the 8th inning of the game yesterday. There he goes. He got a big jump, and it's popped up right over the middle of the diamond. First baseman Adrian Gonzalez calls for it and makes the catch. We are through 5 here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Some fans giving them a souvenir, and a young fan. It's a great memory here at Rogers Center on this Sunday afternoon. Big home of baseball. David Ortiz has gone 0 for 2 against Drew Hutchison. Pops this ball up left side of the infield. Now drifting into the outfield is Yunel Escobar. Drew Hutchison has really sorted things out after a shaky start to his big league career. His last 2 starts, he's been very good. He had a 3-hitter against Baltimore for 7 innings, and again here this afternoon, he's been very consistent.
And the reason for some of that improvement probably lies in all of his pitches. The fact that he's throwing hard and putting it where he wants, and David Ortiz would attest to that with that fastball right on his hands. As he starts, does Hutchison, the fastball on the inside edge to Youkilis.
Youkilis has struck out twice this afternoon, both coming on sliders from Drew Hutchison. And he stays inside, and Youkilis is in a hole. 0-2. John Fale talked about Hutchison's last start when he threw that 3-hit 7-inning effort against the Orioles. He had 9 strikeouts, and he said that he felt like Hutchison learned how to use his legs in that start.
See David Ortiz a moment ago pacing the dugout, and you wonder how much he's running through his head. I don't know why I can't get to this guy. He's putting perfect pitches on my hands, and it's those frustrating days when you just feel like, boy, this guy's got me.
Seeing Hutchison for the first time compounds the situation. And that hits Youkilis. Euclid is saying, hey, if you're going to throw at me, throw it down, but I don't think there was any intent there.
There was no intent. Yeah, well, he says throw it down, but recall back a little earlier in the ballgame, and you'll realize it wasn't down on a couple of Blue Jays hitters. Now, that is not, again, to say that there was any intent here, because there wasn't. You can tell that in the reaction from Hutchison. But it's been a dangerous afternoon.
Yeah, it sure has been a dangerous afternoon. Whether or not there's intent involved, hitters hate it when the balls come up around their hands and head. And watch the target as Aaron Sebia sets up. Wants this pitch down and away, and Hutchison misses up and in, and then you can see Euclid said, hey, if you want to hit me down on my hip. And this is dangerous, no question about it. You can see how close it was to his cheek.
Yeah, not a whole lot different from the couple of pitches from Bard, but yes, very, very dangerous. And the problem when you're Drew Hutchison is your command has been so stellar all afternoon long, and then suddenly that one pitch gets away. That tends to look to the other side like an intentional pitch.
There has been a warning issued to both benches here after the Blue Jays had two batters hit early in the game, and then Euclid gets hit with this one, and that ball is up high, and that's why he's so upset. He said, hey, get it down if you're going to hit me.
It's actually a pretty professional reaction by Euclid. Yeah. Not charging the mound, not trying to say let's get into it right now. Just get it down if you want to drill me.
One out, Euclid at first. Well, you brought it up, and it's a good story to go back to Tony La Russa. That's where once again Euclid is telling Aaron Sebia, hey, you know, I don't care, and I'm not asking whether it was intentional or not, but I'm saying if you're going to hit me down around the hip. But Tony La Russa always retaliated whenever there was a pitch up around his hitter's head. He just felt like a big league pitcher should command the ball better.
Yeah, and I made that comment saying that he felt other pitchers, not necessarily his own, because I watched his pitchers many a time come up and in, and Tony didn't see the same story, at least in my estimation. But yeah, he did not like it when the opposing pitchers came up and in.
Hutchison comes back and strikes out Sweeney. That's the second out of the inning. Fourth strikeout for the Blue Jays right-hander. Two outs now in the top of the sixth. Blue Jays had an ugly situation with Oakland when Tony was managing the A's, when David Cone threw one up and in on Mark McGuire. And it was a breaking ball, but it was up around his head, and in retaliation the A's hit Joe Carter. Joe Carter didn't charge the mound. He turned around and started pointing at Tony La Russa in the dugout, and he felt that that was intentional and came from the manager.
Well, you know, when it's a breaking ball, you and I know that those are not intentional.
You really got to be a good pitcher to hit somebody with a slider.
You know what? If somebody has a slider that he can throw 90 miles an hour and he can dart it at a hitter, then so be it. And I think if I'm the hitter, I just have to suck that one up.
Hutchison is ahead of Mike Aviles 0-2. Hit on the ground past Kelly Johnson into right. Aviles has his second hit of the afternoon. He got the fastball upstairs and went right with it. Shot it past Johnson at second.
Hutchison had spotted some fastballs very well in that at bat to Aviles, but that final pitch, he just simply gets up out over the plate. That's a pretty good pitch to handle.
Boy, that is a good two-strike stroke right there from Aviles. The ball was up, didn't try to hammer it, didn't try to muscle it, just slapped it through the right side of the infield. He's 2 for 3.
See exactly what you're talking about. That short stroke where the barrel just drops straight to the ball.
Second baseman Nick Punto with runners at first and second. Luis Perez begins to loosen up in the Blue Jays bullpen. Top of the sixth inning.
97 pitches now for Hutchison. How close is he to the potential end of his day. If he can get out quickly in this frame, does Farrell send him back out for one more?
Ball is driven to left. Rajay Davis on the run, on the track, makes the catch. Davis with great speed turned his back to the infield and ran it down on the warning track. Punto gave it a ride, but Rajay ends the inning with a nice running catch. Turn and burn from Rajay Davis. Presented by TD Bank. The first 20,000 fans will receive a replica batting helmet. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Bring your dad out to Rogers Center for Father's Day, June 17th. Great opportunity to spend a day with kids, and you can say, hey, it's your idea. We're going to go to the ball game. And you can pick up a replica batting helmet as well. J.P. Arancibia looks at one outside.
What's your first recollection of the ballpark?
Big league ballpark, I was 10. Seals Stadium in San Francisco. Bouncing ball. Aviles takes it on the short hop and guns to first. Arancibia's retired. I can tell you, I saw the St. Louis Cardinals play the San Francisco Giants. It was the first year the Giants were in San Francisco. Of course, the great Willie Mays was in center. A young left-hander named Mike McCormick started for the Giants against Lindy McDaniel.
How about that? Great memories, I would imagine. And mine's not the typical either. Mine was the Coliseum back in L.A. when the Dodgers were playing the Pirates. Vernon Law was on the hill. I was told before getting to the ballpark that the Pirates would win big, and they did. Vernon Law slammed a home run, and all those things stay in your head. They're just terrific to reflect back on.
One thing I thought was particularly cool about being at Seal Stadium was when the game was over, you got to walk on the field, and they opened up gates in center field, and you just walked out the stadium.
That was the exit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another great crowd on hand here at Rogers Center, 41,925, and that pushes the series attendance to 114,000. Rajay Davis, high fly ball to left. Nava just on the edge of the warning track makes the catch. 114,933 for the three-game series. Terrific turnout here. Another crowd over 40,000 here this afternoon. Lots of Blue Jay hats in attendance, and everybody's sporting their new Blue Jays gear. And certainly whenever the Red Sox are here, there's also a lot of Boston fans on hand. But this looks like the home crowd today.
Nice to see all that blue. You go out to Anaheim and you see all the red of the Angels. St. Louis the same with the Cardinals. Of course, Boston will do it with their Sox.
Kelly Johnson. It's the ball right to Nick Punto. A 1-2-3 6th inning. Franklin Morales has done a heck of a job for the Red Sox. Drew Hutchison back out for the 7th. Place on June 16th, and after each Saturday home game, the kids get to run the bases. It's presented by Boston Pizza. Philadelphia Phillies will be in town. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. Special kids price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. Kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros right after the ball game. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com. Stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Bring your kids out for the next Junior Jays Saturday. Kelly Shopek has been hit by a pitch and homered. Shopek took a breaking ball off the elbow. Hit him on the back of the left arm, and he was awarded first base in the 3rd inning. Then he went opposite field with 2 outs in the 5th. His 3rd home run of the season. There has been a warning issued in this game, and it's still interesting to watch Hutchison pitch inside.
Yes. Most of the time, that will take pitchers away from that inside corner. And I think it leads all the more. Boy, you're sharp on the hill. How does that one pitch get away? Red Sox perspective.
Breaking ball. I'll tell you how it gets away. And John Farrell talked about this when he complimented Hutchison in his last start, because he threw 95, and that was about 2 miles an hour faster than he'd pitched earlier. But he said the effort level never caused him to come out of his delivery. I think that one pitch, he stepped on the pedal a little bit, and it just came up and in on Youkilis.
I didn't blame Youkilis for his reaction. I also like the tough-looking attitude from Hutchison as that all transpired.
Now, Youkilis was very concerned because up around his head, and their hands get hit, and possibility of a broken bone, and obviously get hit in the face, and much more serious consequences are there. But I thought they both handled it appropriately. First and foremost, it hurts.
Yeah, that it does.
Good fastball. There's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball here in the 7th.
How about that? Reaching back, finding the dial, and lighting it up. This is a good-looking and very young arm the Blue Jays are now starting to see.
Well, Pat Henkin, who is currently in the bullpen for the Blue Jays as a bullpen coach, loved Hutchison the moment he saw him. He liked his delivery. liked his competitiveness and felt that he commanded the fastball so well he wouldn't have any problems moving through the minor league system. John Farrell, in an earlier quote, told us that he loved the poise and maturity of Drew Hutchison. Escobar, nice play on the short hop. Plenty of time to get Podsednik.
Head didn't bobble at all on this play. And not an easy play.
Well, he's got soft hands and then that cannon for an arm. And once he got the short hop, it was an easy play. And that got the bobblehead doll all excited.
Yeah. On the ground ball, it's very steady head. Otherwise, a little shaky.
Daniel Nava, Blue Jays have finally held him down a little bit. He's 0 for 2 with the walk. First pitch changeup finds the outside corner. Nava is riding a 6-game hit streak.
Hutchison has failed to get some calls on pitches around the knees, but he just keeps pumping down there and starting to get more.
Well, I think that's what John Farrell mentioned when he talked about mound presence. The ability to know you've made a good pitch and not have the ball call affect you. Yeah. He has the presence of mind to come right back and throw another pitch in the same area, knowing that that's where he needs to be.
It's got to be a part of it.
Young talent in this Blue Jays rotation. Right back to Hutchison. Navas retired. Hutchison through 7. Bottom of the 7th. Yunel Escobar, he'll start things off, followed by Jose Bautista, who has homered here and driven in 4. And then Jeff Mathis, who pinch hit. Fire, and Blue Jays will see them starting Tuesday night. New pitcher for the Red Sox is Scott Atchison. He makes his 22nd appearance, and Atchison has had some season. Both lefties and righties hitting right about 200 against him. His whip is under 1 for the season, and he's averaged over 7 strikeouts per 9 innings. What a job by Franklin Morales. going 4 1/3, allowed just 2 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out 4. Escobar singles into right. Yunel's been aboard 3 times.
Well, I think it's fair to say Yunel is doing fine with that hand as he got drilled early in the ball game.
And his head has really calmed down.
Well, settling down, but
leadoff man is aboard here for Jose Bautista. Bautista has driven in 4. Bouncing ball, punto. Second for 1. Back to first, double play. So Atchison erases that leadoff single immediately, getting the 4-6-3 double play. Atchison has had some season. He's not allowed to run in 14 straight games, a span of 18 2/3 coming into this game. Drew Hutchison looks like his day may be over, sitting with his fellow starters.
I think it's probably fair to say a couple of months ago Drew Hutchison may not have felt like he belonged sitting next to Ricky Romero and others in the dugout for the Blue Jays, but right now I think he probably feels, and rightly so, like he belongs.
Oh, I think you're right. I think he's done a nice job. He's in line for his 5th win of the season. That would improve his record to 5-2. Breaking ball, shot that tried to sell it to the home plate umpire, Mike Winters. And right back upstairs, and Mathis strikes out. Good inning for Atchison. We're through 7 complete. Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Hutchison is done. Aaron Oliver will take over. It's time for the smart play of the game, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Please enjoy responsibly.
Well, I would say it's pretty smart when you're Jose Bautista and you say, well, I'm going to go ahead and open up the big swing and try to launch one. He did it foul a couple of times back in that first inning against Daniel Bart. He left pitches up. He leaves one too many up right at the belt buckle. And, yeah, when you can have this kind of power, that's pretty intelligent.
Fought off those higher pitches and got one down where he could really drive it. Drives it out of the ballpark, his 14th home run of the season. We are in the top of the 8th. The veteran Darren Oliver will take over for Drew Hutchison. Oliver appearing in his 21st game, and he's been a real solid performer for the Blue Jays. Whip just over 1, averaging 8.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. He comes in, throws strikes, and has quick innings.
What if he and Omar Vizquel get together and talk about the good old days?
They can certainly cover a lot of ground. First pitch strike with that breaking ball. Great experience. Omar Vizquel 45, Darren Oliver 41. And they have been around for a long time. And you can see their experience and how they handle situations so smoothly. They never let the game speed up on them.
That inexperience, or that experience rather, can become inability at some point. But for these two guys, it hasn't reached that point.
Interesting thing about Oliver is he thought he was done. Played in the minor leagues and pretty much accepted the fact he wasn't going to pitch. And then the Mets came knocking on his door during the winter meetings in Dallas. He came back as a relief pitcher. Gonzalez gets jammed. Lowry has to wait on him. One down. Drew Hutchison gives John Farrell 7 strong innings. He leaves allowing 1 run on 5 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 5. And look at his ERA for his last 5 starts. 2.70. As he has really settled in nicely. His first 4 starts, ERA at 6.65.
Completely throttling the Red Sox this afternoon.
That drops his season ERA to 4.35. And dropped it nearly 50 points. And David Ortiz has not had a good day at the plate. He really had trouble picking up the ball from Hutchison. Ended up the day with an 0 for 3 against the Blue Jays right-hander. Then ball off the end of the bat. These two have gone through this drill plenty of times in their career. Aaron Oliver has faced David Ortiz 15 times. Ortiz is 5 for 15 with a homer. That's a lot of at-bats when you're a relief pitcher against one guy. Just missed that outside corner. Here's the 2-2. Oliver passed up Ortiz. He must have been thinking about that breaking ball, and he strikes out for a second time this afternoon.
Yeah, you just don't spot it much better than that. Even though the location desired by Aaron Sebia was in, keep it down around the knees, you can move it around.
Well, John Farrell will take the ball from Darren Oliver. He gets his 2 men and will turn things over to the right-hander, Francisco Cordero. start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. It'll be Ricky Romero going up against the right-hander Philip Humber. Humber, the author of the perfect game earlier in the season. Romero at 6-1. And he would start his last time out, and that will open up the pregame set against the White Sox. Francisco Cordero on here in the 8th with 2 outs. Fans reacting as that pitch was up and into Euclid. And obviously there has been a warning put in place. Mike Winters, the home plate umpire, saw no intent. There's a breaking ball. Cordero will flip to Cooper, and the inning is over. Cordero comes out, gets the one man. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 8th. Euclid hits the grounder. That ends the inning. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. New pitcher for the Red Sox will be the left-hander Rich Hill. Atchison had 1 inning of work. Franklin Morales, an outstanding long outing, 4 1/3, and now Rich Hill will make his 16th appearance of the season.
Franklin Morales is the guy that kept this a close ball game this afternoon.
Well, he certainly allowed Bobby Valentine to conserve some of his relief innings. Longest outing for Morales as a reliever.
Cooper's getting his steady diet here of left-handers, and he's taking some hittable pitches early in the count, pitches he might want to find a way to jump on and see if he can get the upper hand on the left-handers.
There he drives that breaking ball into center.
Disregard previous message.
It'll always happen, won't it? Get it right out of your mouth, and then they cross up the comment. That ball stayed up in the zone.
Hanging breaking ball. David Cooper says, I've got a response for that. Well, Cooper had a response back in the 5th inning as he doubled off the wall in left field against the left-hander, so he's got it together.
Brett Lawrie has gone 1 for 3 so far. Rich Hill had Tommy John surgery last season, pitched in just 9 games. was late on that pitch and rifles it off the wall. Casey Jansen loosening up. Gets beat by that inside fastball and fouls it off. Stay alive.
I can only guess that Laurie's trying to find that big hole on the right side with the base runner being held on twice quite late.
Out of the 8th inning. Shoots another one on the right side, just foul. Blue Jays scored 3 in the first, 2 in the second, and the Red Sox bullpen has shut them out ever since. Boston got a single run on the 2-out home run off the bat of Kelly Shoppach in the 5th. Cooper is going to be tagged out. Again, another count where you don't really anticipate a stolen base, and Cooper takes off on the 0-2 pitch. And Gonzalez really kind of senses something. Watch Gonzalez at first base. Just before that, he had made a motion with his hand as if to call the attention of Rich Hill. Like he really smelled a rat. Bouncing ball left side. Wouldn't you know it?
When you're a manager, you just kick yourself over these. You're always trying to be aggressive, create something, but sometimes you can run yourself out of innings.
Watch Gonzalez here. Say, hey, I got something here. I got something. And then, sure enough, Rich Hill comes to first. Cooper goes on the first move and gets thrown out easily at second. Really an unusual.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, this is like he sensed something was up.
Now, you might see a first baseman holler, hey, take a peek over here. But, yeah, that was unusual.
And Laurie now 2 for 4 on the afternoon. Hill kind of gave that away as he exaggerated that leg kick, trying to get Brett Laurie to commit. Breaking ball missed the outside corner. Kobe Rasmus. Brett Laurie always very animated, having an animated conversation with Adrian Gonzalez.
I played for Frank Robinson for a while. Intense guy, and he got to a point where he decided to start fining us players if we talked with the opposition players while standing at first, second, or third, whatever the case was.
Came from a totally different generation, didn't
so
he?
If that other guy started talking, you just buttoned your lip.
There goes Laurie. Breaking ball. Shoppach's throw is bounced into second. Laurie has his 8th stolen base of the season.
Well, he doesn't shut it down simply because he gets thrown out a time or two. That's for certain. He is not scared about this game.
Yeah, he was caught trying to steal third with 2 outs in the 8th inning of yesterday's game. It was a bad decision by Laurie to steal in that situation.
Yeah, it was.
2 outs, you have a left-handed hitter at the plate and a chance to cash in a run. Actually, Rajay Davis was at the plate, but you have a chance to score from second with 2 outs. He's going to score on a base hit. Erasmus hits it into right. Sweeney is there. Tagging at second is Laurie. And he will move from second to third. Remember, you can follow the Blue Jays wherever you are with At Bat 12. Enjoy the 2012 baseball season with At Bat for your iPad, iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android device. Listen to live radio broadcast and receive batter-by-batter information for every game. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. J.P. Arencibia walked and scored in the second. Then he struck out and grounded out. Great weekend series crowd here at Rogers Center. Over 111,000 for the 3-game series. And the Blue Jays have a chance to finish up 4-2 on this homestand. Upstairs. Mitch Hill started his career with the Chicago Cubs back in 2002. He was a 4th-round draft pick. And just a reminder, tomorrow the 2012 version of the Major League Draft will take place. And the Blue Jays have 5 picks in the first 60 slots. So it's going to be a very interesting day for them. The MLB Draft Special will take place 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 4 p.m. Pacific. Right here on Sportsnet 1. You can see who your favorite team will take in that first round. And some of the players, more highly rated players, will be in attendance in Secaucus for that draft. I mentioned the Cubs and Rich Hill. He started out as a starter, made it to the big leagues with the Cubs in 2005. Breaking ball. Arencibia is caught looking at strike 3. A couple of base hits, but the Blue Jays can't score. Ryan Sweeney, Mike Aviles, and Nick Punto in the 9th against Casey Janssen. Rogers customers have more ways to get Sportsnet's live coverage of the Blue Jays. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. Casey Jansen comes on to pitch the ninth inning. It is a non-save situation with Blue Jays holding a 5-1 lead. Jansen has not pitched since Wednesday. He needs to get some work in. Off day tomorrow. Ball on the strike. Jansen and Aaron Seavey having trouble getting together on their pitch selection. Casey Jansen, just like Drew Hutchison, can really command that fastball on both sides of the plate.
He also is a bit of a drop and drive guy, not to the Tom Seaver extent, but drives that low fastball.
Another good pitch inside. Cooper will shovel to Jansen at first. 1 out. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected, here's Jamie Thomas. Dublin, Ohio, the site of the Memorial Golf Tournament, and it's always a highly rated golf tournament. Good field. Tiger Woods has made a move evidently.
He looks like a new guy again. It looks like the swing is kind of returning. It's changing from all that mechanical stuff.
Mike Aviles has a pair of hits. Red Sox with 5 hits on the afternoon. Sounded like it broke his back. He gets some new lumber. Drew Hutchison in line for the win. Hutchison would improve to 5-2 in 7 innings, allowed 5 hits. Walked a batter and struck out 5. Aviles has a good 2-strike approach. He shortens up and protects the strike zone.
Don't leave those close pitches in the hands of the umpires.
This is lifted into right. Bautista calling for it. Red Sox are down to their final out. Blue Jays swept the Orioles in a 3-game series to start this homestand. They lost the first 2 games to the Red Sox 7-2 on Friday night, 7-4 yesterday afternoon. We mentioned the Blue Jays will have an off day tomorrow. They'll have their annual Jays Care Foundation golf tournament. And then they'll go to Chicago, take on the White Sox for 3 before going down to Atlanta for interleague play against the Braves. Nick Punto 0 for 3 this afternoon after having a 3-hit game yesterday afternoon. Jared Saltalamacchia, the switch-hitting catcher, did not start in this game. He has grabbed a bat and will hope for a chance to bat here. Casey Jansen would just as soon leave him on the on-deck circle.
Absolutely. Come on back here. I say, come on back here. We got some more business to attend to.
$41,925. Punto will stay alive. Blue Jays with another home run here today. Jose Bautista, 3-run shot in the first. His 14th of the season. He added 4 RBIs. He's up to 37 for the year. We'll do it again.
Casey Jansen sure has done a nice job in this closer's role, and he looks like a guy who just doesn't want to cough it up at any point.
Been very consistent over the last couple of years, no matter what his role is. Punto delivers a base hit to center, keeps the inning alive. Tuesday night, the Blue Jays will open up a 3-game series. All 3 games will be night games at U.S. Cellular Field against the White Sox. Ricky Romero at 6-1 will go up against Philip Humber. Then Brandon Morrow and his 6-3 record will go up against Quintana in Game 2. And then Henderson Alvarez and Jake Peavy. Peavy's off to a great start to his season. Healthy again, throwing well. So the 2 veterans and the youngster will take on the White Sox for John Farrell in a 3-game series. Kyle Drabek. Oh, these starters, they have so much time on their hands. They can have a good time.
How about that look from Ricky back?
Stolen base for Punto. And Saltalamacchia falls behind 0-2. Saltalamacchia pinch hitting for Kelly Shoppett. No swing as Brian Knight down at third. Punto goes to third. Well, he's a big, strong guy, and he checked his swing.
You try as best you can to keep that bat kind of tied to the back shoulder, and he did a pretty good job there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2.
See the way Saltalamacchia turned back toward the catcher and umpire on this up and in pitch. That's exactly what you'd like to do. Kevin Youkilis did a great job earlier in the game on a very dangerous pitch. But when you open toward the pitcher, that's when you're in a tough spot.
Turn your back to that baseball. Popped up. Escobar into the outfield. The Blue Jays win it. 5-1 is the score. They salvaged the final game of the 3-game series. Jose Bautista set the tone with his 3-run home run in the first.
And anytime you can come into a 6-game homestand against the Baltimore Orioles, the first-place Orioles at the time, and these Boston Red Sox win 4 of the ball games, 4 out of 6. You've done a really nice job, and I think the Blue Jays have to focus in that regard. Also, when you lose 2 to start a series to the Red Sox, come back and win that finale behind the rookie on the hill. I think you have to be a very excited ball club about the prospects of things to come.
Drew Hutchison improves to a 5-2 record. John Farrell's team can enjoy the off day. Now stay tuned for Connected. Jamie Thomas will break it all down.